Bring in Brian Beary, a journalist with European Affairs magazine. Brian, welcome.
Thank you.
Jim talked about some of the big issues that these two leaders need to be discussed. First face-to-face meeting, what does each side hope to gain here?
Well, first of all, there's the optics. Whatever negative comments that President Trump has made about Angela Merkel, he clearly respects her. She's the most powerful leader in Europe, and he's, I'm sure, keen to have this meeting. For Chancellor Merkel, I think she has to confirm her global leadership role. She has shown in recent, she's one of the longest serving leaders on the global stage, and she wants to influence him, perhaps make him see reason on certain issues, and just appear as a leader on the global stage.
So Jim talked about areas of disagreement. Talk to us, Brian, about areas of agreement.
We'll know more in the coming weeks. Right now, it's very difficult to say because there's a lot of bluster in what President Trump comes out with, particularly on the issue of trade when it comes to Germany. Will he, in fact, launch some kind of a trade war against Germany? My personal view, it's highly unlikely, but I think Chancellor Merkel is here to point some things out about how the two economies are so intertwined with mutual investments and jobs that it would be shooting the U.S. in the foot to do that. But I think trade is going to be front and center in their discussions today. And it's a subject that Donald Trump knows very well and is comfortable talking about.
In fact, business and economics is one area that these two leaders might actually converge. What about Russia? As you mentioned, Merkel has a lot of experience. She has been Chancellor of Germany for 12 years, has a lot of dealings with Vladimir Putin. How much will Russia be front and center in these discussions?
I expect it will be quite important. Chancellor Merkel also speaks Russian, and despite having a rather distrustful view of Vladimir Putin, has a working relationship. I suspect President Trump will be looking for her advice on how to deal with President Putin, even though we have talked about this kind of bromance between them. He doesn't really have any experience dealing with Vladimir Putin. And I think Chancellor Merkel will point out to beware of certain things, as she has learned from unpleasantly surprised by the Crimea annexation, etc. She herself has changed her position on Russia and on President Putin. And I think she can, again, inform President Trump about her experiences with Russia.
And Brian, finally, how important is the United States' economic relationship with Germany, with its biggest, really, and most important European ally?
The economic relationship, it's hugely important. I think there was a mention about the trade deficit, but there's still hundreds of millions of dollars worth of trade in goods all of the time. German cars, perhaps best known. It's a hugely important relationship, but I think what Chancellor Merkel will point out is that Germany is comfortable with that relationship being handled by the European Union, because Germany has benefited enormously from free trade agreements that the EU has signed on behalf of all 28. That's something that will be tricky to get across to President Trump, who seems to prefer bilateral agreements. But that's not actually what Germany wants.
Brian Beary, thank you so much. We should add more than 800,000 people in this country work for German companies. Brian Beary, thank you.